Good day everyone, hope you are well. Today we are going to do the memo discussion of the combined activity due on the 3rd and the 5th of June. Right, so let's get started. I'll quickly say here that it is the memo discussion. Right, so instructions. Warm Blankets is a retailer in wool blankets of all colors and sizes. Warm Blankets use a fixed markup percentage of 25% on cost, if not stated otherwise. Total the journals at the end of the month. You are required to complete the accounting equation of transactions that took place on the 4th, 12th, 13th, 14th and the 17th of April. You are required to record the transactions in the following journals: cash receipts journal, cash payments journals, debtors journal, debtors allowances journal. For you it might be the first time that you see a debtors journal, but I will take you through it. Very easy. Post to the general ledger and balance total at the end of April 2020 for the following accounts. Opening balances totals on 1 April. Okay, so we need to do all of these accounts and they've given us opening balances and totals. And here's our transactions. Okay, so first of all, let's start with number 1. Let's do the accounting equation for those transactions. On the 4th, let's go and have a look at the 4th. Paid the March 2020 telephone account to Welltel R210, issued check number 081. Right, let's go and fill that in. Journal, first of all, we are paying money, so CPJ. And this is for June. June is the 6th month of the year, therefore this will be CPJ number 6. Account being debited will be your telephone. Your telephone account. Remember, telephone account is an expense. Expenses increases in the debit side, therefore it will be the account being debited. Right, expenses will always have a negative influence on owner's equity. Always. So I can already go to my owner's equity. The amount was R210. Then this was a cash payment. So I need to take the money out of my bank account. Bank account is classified as an asset, and assets will always decrease in the credit side. Okay, so bank classified as an asset, assets will decrease. Right, now let's test whether we've done it correctly. Minus R210 will equal minus R210 plus 0. We've done it correctly. Right, next one we need to do the one on the 12th. On the 12th, supplied merchandise on credit to B. Balto R1,250 and the cost price of this was R1,000. Issued invoice number 051. Okay, so very easy. This is a transaction that would have taken place in my debtors journal 6. I sold stuff on credit, therefore my debtors control account will increase. More money is being owed to me. Debtors control account is classified as an asset. Okay, that's why it's being debited. Assets increase in the debit side. Assets will increase with, the amount was R1,250. Okay, and why did it increase? Because I had sales. Sales is classified as an income, and income will always have a positive influence on owner's equity. Always. 1250. Okay, let's test it. Plus 1,250 will equal plus 1,250 plus 0. Therefore we've done this one correctly. Right, now second part of this transaction, to have sales we will have cost of sales as well. Cost of sales. Let's just quickly go back to the 12 so I can show you how I got. Oh, they gave it to me. No calculations necessary. Cost of sales will equal R1,000. Cost of sales is an expense account. Remember what I told you about expenses will always have a negative influence on owner's equity. Always. Okay. So because I sold products, my trading stock will also decrease. And trading stock is classified as an asset account. And remember, I sold my trading stock, so my trading stock is physically going out of my premises, therefore it's decreasing and is classified as an asset. Assets will decrease with that amount. There you go. Minus 1000 equals minus 1000 plus 0. We've done it correctly. Right, next one we need to do the 13th. Issued checks 082 to superior suppliers for merchandise 8,000 Rand and stationery 340 Rand. Very importantly, we bought two different products with one check from the same supplier. Okay, so this took place. It's a cash journal, cash payment journal number 6, account being debited. First of all, we bought merchandise, that will be trading stock. Trading stock is classified as an asset, and I bought more trading stock, therefore my trading stock will increase with 8,000 Rand. Okay. My bank, also an asset. Assets will decrease in the credit side and increase in the debit side, will decrease with the total payment. So that will be 8,340 Rand. Okay, but I'm not done yet. So I also bought stationery, and stationery is classified as an expense account, and expenses increases in the debit side. So therefore, stationery will be debited. Stationery is an expense account and will always have a negative influence on my owner's equity, therefore minus 340 Rand. So let's test this. Plus 8,000 minus 8,340 will equal 340 minus 340. Therefore, minus 340 will equal minus 340 plus 0. I've done this one correctly. Right, then on the 14th, issued receipt 58 to K Karabu for 250 Rand paid on account. Okay, so now we received money from a debtor, so therefore cash received, journal number 6. My bank will increase, so I'm receiving money. Bank is classified as an asset, therefore my asset will increase with that 250 Rand. Okay, so why did I receive this money? Because of debtors control. Remember, debtors control, I'm receiving this from a person who owed me money, therefore this person will owe me less money. Debtors control is classified as an asset account, and assets will decrease in the credit side. Okay, so therefore my assets will also decrease. Plus 250 Rand minus 250 Rand will equal 0 plus 0. We've done this correctly. Right, I just see I put that 340 Rand there. That is fine, but it might make more sense putting it here next to my stationery account. Just remember, this whole thing is one transaction, bought at one place, okay, with one check, but two different products. I bought trading stock and stationery. Okay, sorry, back to the 17th. 17th, B. Balto returned merchandise previously bought on credit with a cost price of 200 Rand, issued credit note number 005. Okay, so they gave us cost price. We need to calculate selling price. But before we get into that, let me explain what happened here. So B. Balto bought stuff from us on credit maybe in the previous month. But point being in the past, okay? Now he took it home. He found he was unhappy with the products, so he returned it. But remember, he never paid for it in the first place. He still owed us this money. So we need to deduct the selling price of this item from the amount that B. Balto owed to us as the business. And that's essentially what we are going to do now. Okay, so remember, B. Balto is a debtor. We need to decrease the selling price from his account because he doesn't owe it to us anymore. Right, so 200 Rand divide by my cost price percentage, multiply by my selling price percentage. In this case, they did tell us the profit margin 25% on cost. Remember, cost price is always 100%, and in this activity profit margin is 25% and selling price will be the two together. Therefore 100 plus 125 will equal 125%. Therefore my selling price should equal 250 Rand. Okay. Right, let's go and fill that in. So this will be my debtors allowances journal 6 for June. Right, so to account for this one correctly, we're basically going to reverse the previous transaction. So we had sales previously, now he's returning it. We need to do the opposite of sales. Therefore, we are going to create an expense account. Remember, sales is an income. We need the opposite of that now. That will be an expense. An expense account called debtors. Debtors allowances account. And this is an expense account. It will have a negative influence on owner's equity. Remember, all expenses will always have a negative influence on owner's equity. And the amount that he is returning is 250 Rand. 250 Rand that needs to be deducted from his account. Okay? And then also my debtors control will decrease. I mean, it doesn't owe this to me anymore. Therefore, debtors control is classified as an asset. Therefore, my assets will decrease. Also, debtors control decreases in the credit side. So, therefore, minus 250 Rand. Okay, now second part, remember, when you add sales, we're basically reversing that transaction now. We need to reverse the cost of sales and trading stock part as well. Now he's returning trading stock, so my trading stock will increase again. He's bringing it back to my store. They gave us the cost price. Remember, trading stock is classified as an asset. Assets increases in the debit side. So let's just go and show the increase. Plus 200 Rand. Cost of sales is an expense account. And basically what happens now is I had an expense, now I don't have it anymore, so I'm just reversing it. So remember, cost of sales, which is an expense account, expenses always goes to the debit side, but now I'm reversing it, therefore it goes to the credit side. So essentially this is technically now an income. I had an expense, now I don't have anymore. I'm just doing the opposite of an expense, and that's an income. Okay. So minus 250 equals minus 250 plus 0. That one's correct. Plus 200 will equal plus 200 plus 0. That one is correct. Okay, I hope this one helps and that it makes sense. But let's continue with the rest of the activity. You will still see a lot of this type of questions and activities. Right. Required part 2. Record the transactions of April 2020 in the following journals: cash receipts journal, cash payments journal, debtors journal, and debtors allowances journal. Right, let's go and have a look at them. Paid the March 2020 telephone account to Waltel 210 Rand, issued check number 081. That's a cash payment. So I'm going to go to my cash payment journal. So, check counterfoil 081. This took place on the 4th. Name of payee is Waltel. We are paying them 210 Rand for telephone expenses. They did provide a column for this, therefore telephone. Right. Next transaction. On the 5th, issued invoice 49 to B Babatu for 500 Rand and invoice 50 to K Karabu for 1,500 for credit sales. Okay, so in both of these instances, we need to go and calculate cost of sales. Right, so let's do the 500 first. I'm going to take 500, my selling price, divide by my selling price percentage. Remember, I already calculated that 125 on the 17th. Right, so divide by my selling price percentage. Then I will multiply by my cost price percentage because that is what I need to calculate. You will get an answer of 400 Rand. Okay, right, let's do the next one. 1,500 divided by my selling price percentage multiplied by my cost price percentage will equal 1,200 Rand. I forgot my equal sign, my bad. There you go. Okay, 1,200 Rand. Right, let's go and account for this. This is debit credit sales, so they don't actually pay for this, they're gonna pay us at a later stage. Therefore, debtors journal, two separate transactions. Debtors journal. Okay, so let's quickly fill this one in. First one, it was invoice number 049. It took place on the 5th and the debtor was B Babatu. Okay, so sales, this is my first debtor, so I'm going to give him like an ID in my business, D1. So whenever I have a transaction with Babatu, my folio will be D1. This number will follow Babatu wherever he has transactions in my business. You will see when we have more transactions just now. Right, so sales, they gave it to us 500 Rand, and then cost of sales, we calculated it to be 400 Rand. Then second one, invoice 050, it also took place on the 5th, so I'm not going to write the 5th again, and the debtor was K Karabu. Okay, that will be D2. The selling price, they gave it to us 1,500, and we calculated our cost price to be 1,200. Right, that's that for the 5th. Okay, so basically Babatu owes us 500 Rand, okay, Karabu owes us 1,500 Rand now. Okay, next transaction. So that was on the 5th. The 12th, supplied merchandise on credit to B Balto 1,250, cost price 1,000, issued invoice number 051. Right, easy. They gave us all the information. We just need to go and fill it into my debtors journal. They said supplied on credit, so I know. Invoice 051 took place on the 7th. No, sorry, the 12th. And that debtor was B Balto, and B Balto will be D3. Did I spell Balto? Yes. And my selling price is 1,250 Rand. They gave me cost price, it is 1,000 Rand. Right, next transaction. On the 13th, issued check 082 to Superior Supplies for merchandise 8,000 Rand and stationery 340 Rand. Remember, we did this in the accounting equation. It's one payment, one check for two different products. Check counterfoil 082. Right, on the 13th, issued check 082 to Superior Supplies for merchandise 8,000 and stationery 340 Rand. We did do this in the accounting equation. One check to one supplier for two different items. Cash payment journal. Let's go and fill this one in. Check counterfoil 082. This took place on the 13th, and we are paying money to Superior Supplies. Okay. The amount we are paying them will be the two amounts together, 8,340 Rand, of which 8,000 Rand was for trading stock and 340 Rand was for stationery. Right, stationery, there we go. Done with that transaction. Let's have a look at the next one. No, we're not done. On the 13th, still cash sales of 500 Rand. We need to calculate cost price. We did calculate the cost price on sales of 500 Rand, but let me just quickly show you how to do it again. 500 divided by my selling price percentage, multiply by what I want. I want my cost price, so I'm going to multiply by my cost price percentage. It will equal 400 Rand. There you go. Right, cash sales will go to my cash receipt journal, and it will look like this. Cash register roll will be my document. It took place on the 13th as well. Details will be sales. Analysis of receipts will be 500. It will reflect in my bank account at the end of the day. My details will be, or my sales will be 500. Cost of sales 400. Right, next transaction took place on the 14th. Issued receipt 58 to K Karabu for 250 Rand paid on account. Okay, so I'm receiving money from a debtor. Right, so we issued a receipt to this debtor, receipt 58. This took place on the 14th. The details will be the debtor's name, okay. And remember, we gave K Karabu an ID down in the DJ. K Karabu is D2, therefore it will follow him. Folio D2. Analysis of receipts. The amount we received was 250 Rand. It will reflect in my bank account at the end of the day. The reason I received this money is because of debtors control. There you go. Right, next transaction. Next transaction took place on the 17th. B. Balter returned merchandise previously bought on credit with a cost price of 200 Rand. Issued credit note to 005. Okay, so now B. Balter bought stuff previously, unhappy now, and he's returning it. But remember, B. Balter never paid for this product. He still owes us the 250 Rand, which we calculated here. We just need to deduct it from the amount that he owes us. And this will take place in our debtors allowances journal. So, credit note. We issued credit note, CN for credit note 005. It took place on the 17th, and the debtor was B. Balto. Okay, and D. Balto, we gave him an ID, was D3. Debtors allowance is the amount that we are returning or deducting from his account, 250 Rand, and cost of sales, which is basically just a reverse of what we're doing, remember. And he's returning it now. Debtors allowances is the opposite of sales. Sorry, this is an expense account. We are reversing sales. And cost of sales, which originally when we sold the products to B. Balto was an expense account, but now because he's returning it, we need to reverse our cost of sales. Therefore, this will technically be the opposite of an expense. It will be a income, opposite side of your expense account. I'll show you just now in the general ledger. Right, so next transaction took place on the 20th. Issued receipt 59 to B. Babatu for the amount outstanding on his account to date. Let's quickly calculate what B. Babatu owes us. So I can't remember that we received anything from B. Babatu. No, we did not. So just we need to go to our debtors journal. B. Babatu owes us 500 Rand. So therefore we receive 500 Rand from B. Babatu now. Alright, let's go and put that in our cash receipt journal. So we will issue receipt number 59. This took place on the 20th, and we received money from Bibabatu. Bibabatu, did we give him an ID? Bibabatu is D1, so therefore ID will follow wherever he goes in our business or has transactions in our business. And we will receive the outstanding amount, which we calculated to be 500 Rand. It will reflect in our bank account at the end of the day. We receive this money because of debtors control. He owes us 500 Rand less because he settled his outstanding balance. Alright, next transaction. Next transaction took place on the 21st. I wanted to calculate it here, but it's easy, just one transaction. Right, on the 21st, another debtor, Esteban, complained about a product which was the wrong color on delivery. He said he will keep the product if he was allowed an allowance. Therefore, an allowance of 100 Rand was granted. Very importantly, you need to ask yourself the question, did Esteban return any actual products? The answer is no. He said if we give him an allowance of 100 Rand, he will be happy to keep the product. But what this means now is he did not actually return any products, therefore my trading stock won't increase and I don't have to reverse my original cost of sales. So to be fair, this is actually a very, very easy transaction. Let me show it to you. Just one trick. Debtors allowances journal. Right, so we will issue Esteban with credit note 006. This took place on the 21st, and the debtor is Esteban. Esteban, we didn't have transactions. Well, I didn't give him an ID before, so we will just give him or assign him D4. Okay, so we gave him an allowance of 100 Rand. 100 Rand will be deducted from his account. He will owe us 100 Rand less. Very importantly, he did not bring back any products. Therefore, cost of sales, which we have to reverse, will stay 0. Done. Okay, always need to ask yourself, did this debtor bring back any actual products? Right, so let's quickly total all of our journal. Well, are we done? Let's quickly just see if we're done. We're done the 21st last. Let's go and see what's transaction. On the 28th, the bank statement from RNF Bank reflected 55 Rand bank charges. Okay, so we received, no, we paid bank charges, so cash payment journal. Document will be bank statement. This took place on the 28th, and we paid money to RNF Bank, and the amount was 55 Rand for bank charges. They did not provide a column for it, so I will take it to my sundry accounts. Bank charges. Right, now we are done. Now I can finally total all of my journals. Right, so remember, analysis of receipts, it is not an account, therefore I won't even total this. Bank total receipts will be 1,250 Rand. Sales easy 500 Rand. Cost of sales 400 Rand. Debtors control 750 Rand. Your sales and your debtors control and your sundry account, in this case 0, together should equal bank. So 500 plus 750 equals my bank. That one's fine. Let's total my cash payment journal. My bank will be 8,605 Rand. My telephone will be 210 Rand. Trading stock 8,000 Rand, and then my sundry accounts 395 Rand. So this three together should equal my bank amount, and it does. Therefore, I've done this one correctly as well. Just a quick explanation. Cash receipts journal, bank is an asset, bank will increase in the debit side, so bank will be debited, everything else will be credited. Okay, except cost of sales, of course. Expense account. Bank in my cash payment journal, bank will be credited because now my asset is decreasing. Everything else, my telephone, trading stock, stationery, bank charges, will be debited. Opposite, okay. Hope that helps a bit. Then my debtors journal, if you were to total your sales, it will be 3,250 Rand. If you were to total cost of sales, it will be 2,600 Rand. Debtors allowances journal will be 350 Rand. Cost of sales 200 Rand. Done with my journals. Now we just need to do my general ledger. So let's quickly do that one as well. Bank, they did give us an opening balance, remember, so let's go and just have a look at my opening balance. Bank, they said 10,000 Rand debit side. Let's go and fill it in. Bank 10,000 debit side. And 1, 2, 3. Where did I get this information? It's an opening balance. Opening balance value is always brought down. Details will be balance on the 1st of June for 2020. Okay, now we received some money and we paid some money. Let's go and have a look. Cash receipts journal, we received 1,250 Rand. Let's go and account for that. Remember, it's a total of a column. Therefore, we need to use the last day. 1,250 Rand. We got this from cash received journal number 6. Details will be total receipts. Remember, why is it total receipts? Bank is being debited. If I want to find my credit, you need to go and have a look at a bunch of accounts. Your total receipts. This is my total receipts. I receive money because of sales and because of debtors control. Okay, that's my total receipts. Right, so now this took place. Remember, total of a column, and June, according to my calculations, has 30 days. And we're still on the same year and month, so I'm not going to fill that in again. Now we paid some money as well. Let's go and have a look. Total of bank in my CPJ. It is 8,605 Rand. Let's go and fill it in. 8,605 Rand. I got this from my CPJ number 6. My details will be total payments. Okay, the date will be the last day of the month, 2020, and month was June. Okay, the only thing left is balancing. I'll do that right in the end. Right, debtors control. Let's see the opening balance in the information. Debtors control 7,200. Now, remember, debtors control is an asset account and it will reflect in the deposit account. Positive side, my debit side. Right, so 7,200 Rand. It's an opening balance, therefore brought down. Details balance on the 1st day of June 2020. Okay. So now we received money from debtors and we paid money to debtors. No, not paid, but we gave them allowances. So cash receipts journal of warm blanket, we received 750 Rand. So people settled their debts. The amount they owe us will decrease with 750 Rand. Therefore 750 Rand will go to my credit side. My asset will decrease. Where did I get this information from? Cash received journal 6. Details will be bank. Total of a column, therefore 30. 2020 and June. Okay, so debtors control is being credited. If I want to find my debit, where do I have to need to go and have a look? In my bank account. So 750 Rand, this credit will form part of this 1250 Rand. It's in there. Okay, so now my debtors control or debtors journal will also increase because more people bought products from me on credit to the amount of 3,250 Rand. So debtors control will increase with that amount, 3,250 Rand. Where did I get the information from? Debtors journal number 6. My details will be sales. This will take place on the last day of the month to include all of the transactions that took place in the month. Okay, debtors control is being debited. If I want to find my credit of that transaction, you need to go and have a look in your sales. We still need to do sales though. I'll show you just now. Okay, so we're not done yet. Debtors control also decreased because people brought back products that they were unhappy with. They brought it back or we gave them an allowance. Okay, so it will decrease with 350 Rand. Where did I get this information from? Debtors allowances journal number 6. Details will be debtors allowances. Took place on the 30th. I'm not going to write the date again. Only thing left to do in debtors control is the balancing, which I will do in the end. Trading stock. Let's see if they gave us an opening balance. Trading stock 2,120 Rand. Remember, trading stock is an asset account. If I have a balance, it will reflect in my debit side. Let's just put this on a new page. 2,150 Rand. It's an opening balance, therefore brought it down. Details will be balance. First day of June 2020. Right, now I sold some trading stock and I bought some trading stock. Let's go and have a look. Right, so in my cash receipts journal, I sold trading stock to the value of 400 Rand. So my trading stock will decrease with 400 Rand. Where do I get this information? Cash received journal number 6, and my details will be cost of sales. Okay, this is a total of a column, therefore the 30th June 2020. There you go. Right, now I also bought some trading stock to the value in my cash payment journal to the value of 8,000 Rand. So my trading stock will increase with that amount. Where did I get this information? From my CPJ6. My details will be bank and the date will be the 30th. Trading stock is being debited. If I want to find my credit, I need to go and have a look in bank. In this transaction, trading stock is being credited. If I want to find my debit, I need to go and have a look in cost of sales. Not done yet though. We had more sales on credit though. We sold trading stock to the value of 2,600 Rand on credit. Let's go and account for that. My trading stock will decrease with that amount. So 2,600 Rand. Where did I get the information? Debtors journal number 6. Details will be cost of sales. Took place on the 30th as well. But now my trading stock will increase if debtors bring back trading stock to the value of 200 Rand. Remember, Balto was unhappy, so he returned products which cost us 200 Rand to sell to him in the first place. We're just reversing the transaction. So then my trading stock will increase with that 200 Rand. Where did I get the information? From my debtors allowances journal number 6. And my details will be cost of sales. Remember, we're just reversing that transaction, which also took place on the 30th. Right, sales. Let's see if we had an opening total. Anyways, okay, so sales. R5,520. Sales is an income account, so it will reflect in my credit side. 5,520 Rand. It's an opening total, so brought forward. Remember, we're in the nominal account now. Brought down becomes brought forward, and my details instead of balance will be total. Very easy. This will be the 1st, 2020 and June. There you go. So we had sales during the current month as well on credit and in cash. So cash receipts journal, we had sales to the value of 500 Rand, and we had sales on credit to the value of 3,250 Rand. I'm going to record both of them now, so I don't have to go up and down all the time. Right, so we had credit sales to the amount of 3,250 Rand. I got the information from my debtors journal number 6. My details will be debtors control. Debtors control will be the 30th to include all of the transactions that took place during the month. Then I had cash sales as well to the value of 500 Rand. I got the information from my cash receipts journal 6. My details will be bank, which also took place on the 30th. I'm just not going to write the date again. Cost of sales, we had an opening total. Let's go and have a look at that opening total. Cost of sales 3,890 Rand. Cost of sales is an expense account. Okay, so cost of sales, expense account. So it will show in the debit side. So 3,890 Rand. Where did I get the information? It's an opening total, so brought forward. Details will be total on the 1st, 2020 June. There you go. Right, now we had cost of sales during the month. We sold stuff for cash and on credit. So cash receipts journal, we had cost of sales to the amount of 400 Rand. Okay, so that's an expense. It will increase my expenses to the amount of 400 Rand. Got the information from my cash receipts journal 6. My details will be trading stock. The date will be the 30th because it's a total of a column. Cost of sales is being debited with 400 Rand. If I want to find my credit, I need to go and have a look in my trading stock account. Let me show you or prove it to you. There's my credit. Okay, so trading stock was credited. If I want to find my debit, I need to go and have a look at my cost of sales account. There it is. Okay, next one. So no cost of sales in my cash payment journal, but we had cost of sales in my debtors journal to the amount of 2,600 Rand. So my cost of sales will increase with that amount, 2,600 Rand. Got the information from my debtors journal 6, and my details will be trading stock. Also on the 30th, I'm not going to write it again. Let me prove it to you again. Cost of sales is being debited to the amount of 2,600 Rand. If I want to find my credit, I need to go and have a look at my trading stock account. There you will find it. Okay. But now, because of my debtors allowances journal, some customers were unhappy and they brought products back. My cost of sales will decrease. Remember, I'm reversing it in my debtors allowances journal with 200 Rand. So in my cost of sales, 200 Rand, I got the information from my debtors allowances journal 6, and my details will be trading stock. 30th June 2020. There you go. Okay, so we need to total this one at the end. I'll do it in the end. Debtors allowances, let's go and see if we have an opening total. I think we had. Debtors allowances 955 Rand. Okay, debtors allowances remains the opposite of sales. It's an expense account. So 955 Rand. It's an opening total, therefore brought forward. Details will be total 1st of June 2020. Okay, now during the current month we had debtors allowances in my debtors allowances journal to the amount of 350 Rand. So 350 Rand, I got the information from my debtors allowances journal number 6, and my details will be debtors control. This will be on the 30th. Okay, so debtors allowances is being debited. If I want to find my credit, I need to go and have a look at debtors control in my debtors control account. Let's go and look for that in my debtors control account. 350 Rand in my credit side. Okay, there you go. Let's quickly balance all of my accounts. Right, so bank. We need to decide which side is the largest. I can see that my debit side is by far the largest. It's much larger than 8,605 Rand. If I total it, it will total 11,250 Rand. How much do I need in my smaller side, in this case my credit side, to get to this 11,250 Rand? I'm going to take 11,250 minus 8,605 Rand. You will get an amount of 2,645 Rand. This was a calculation, and calculation starts with a C, therefore carried down. Details will be balance. Always last of the month. 30th is the previous date, so I'm not going to write it again. Now if I total my credit side, I should get an amount of 11,250 Rand. Debit equals credit, therefore I've done it correctly. My new opening balance will be 2,645 Rand. Opening balance will always be brought down. Details will be balanced. First day of the new month, which will be July. There you go. Right, then debtors control. We need to decide which side is the largest side. I can see that my debit side is much bigger than my credit side. I will total this and I will get an amount of 10,450 Rand. And then I will calculate how much I need in my smaller side to get to that amount to balance the two sides. So 10,450 minus 750 minus 350 should equal 9,350 Rand. Okay, I did a calculation. Calculation starts with a C, therefore my failure will be carried down and my details will be balanced. Remember, this is not a transaction, it's only a reminder of the difference between my two sides. Now I will calculate my credit side and you should get a total of 10,450 Rand. If your debit side equals your credit side, you know you've done it correctly. So by calculating the difference between the two sides, you actually just calculated your new opening balance for the first day of the next month. Opening balances failure will always be brought down. Details will be balanced. Can't be an account name because it's not a transaction. It's just a reminder of the new opening balance. First day of the next month. July, 1st of July. Then trading stock. We need to decide what's the bigger side, debit or credit. I can see that my debit side total will be much bigger than my credit side total. So let's quickly total my debit side. You will get a total of 10,320 Rand. Now I need to calculate by how much do I need in my credit side to make the two sides equal. I will take my 10,320 Rand minus my 400 minus my 2,600. You should get an amount of 7,320 Rand. That was the calculation. Calculation starts with a C, therefore your folios always carry down. Details will be balance. Remember, it's not a transaction. Only a reminder of the difference between the two sides. You will always do this calculation at the last day of the month. Because we're still on the 30th, I will not write the date again. Let's quickly total my credit side. Should get an amount of 10,320. Debit equals my credit side, therefore I've done it correctly. My new opening balance will be 7,320 Rand. The folio for opening balance is always brought down, therefore my details will be balance. Remember, it's not a transaction, just a reminder of my new opening balance, 1st of July. We're still in the same year, so I'm not going to write the year again. Right, now we're in our nominal accounts section, and you are allowed here, if your one side is completely open, to only total. Shortcut. Right, so if you total your credit side of your sales, you should get 9,270 Rand. Therefore, you are done with sales. Cost of sales, unfortunately, one side's not empty. We need to do the whole totaling of the whole account. So therefore, we need to decide which side's the largest side totaled. I can see my debit side's way larger than my credit side. So therefore, let's quickly total my debit side. You will get an amount of 6,890 Rand. How much do I need in my smaller side, in this case my credit side, to get to that amount? So I will take my 6,890 Rand minus my 200 Rand. You should get an amount of 6,690 Rand. That was the calculation. Calculation starts with a C, therefore carried forward. Remember, in my balance account section, it would have been carried down, but because we're in nominal account section, carry down becomes carried forward, and balance becomes total. Right, this will be done last day of the month, 30th. The previous one's on the 30th, therefore I'm not going to write the date again. If I total my credit side, you should get an amount of 6,890 Rand. Debit side equals my credit side, therefore I've done it correctly. My new opening total will be 6,690 Rand. Opening balance for the next month will be, the folio will be always brought forward. Details will be total. 1st day of July. There you go. So essentially what happened here is we started the month with cost of sales to the amount of 3,890 Rand. We sold more stuff on cash for 400 Rand, which cost us 400 Rand to sell, and then we sold stuff on credit to the value of 2,600 Rand, and then we had some customers who were unhappy and they brought it back, so we had to reverse transactions to the value of 200 Rand, and then our opening total for the 1st of the new month will be 6,690 Rand. Debtors allowances. My credit side is completely open, therefore I am allowed to just total, and you should get 1,305 Rand. You are done. I hope this was very helpful. Have a very good day.